And a welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt, as well as on Facebook Live on facebook.com/live-now-dt, facebook.com/wakeupcalldt, and on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. We thank you for your patience as we are on site, on location, in the backyard where it all started. This is called When Dan Meets Marino. Dan Tortora, Steve Marino. You know the play on words is Dan Marino, who was my favorite quarterback growing up. And ironically, your sister Teresa had a folder of Dan Marino, and she used to go to school and tell kids that it was her uncle and that he couldn't come to a party because he was doing something for
Uncle
like
Dan.
her cousin or something like that. So it's funny how alike her and I really truly are, and I find that out every day.
Oh yeah.
And how Dan Marino was interwoven into her life, into mine. And at 35 years old, I can actually say that Dan has finally met Marino. So I got what I wanted. Here in the backyard where it all started, folks, the backyards of America have done so many fantastic things. Personal responsibility, morals, values, love of the game, love of family, quality time. So much can be learned right here in the backyard. And these sports tips and tools can obviously lead to a better life and life lessons. That's why Wake Up Call is where sports meets life. So it's only fitting that we're here in the backyard where Steve began his career and just recently said goodbye to a chapter of his life that's never truly, it's kind of a see you later. It's kind of like, because you'll always be around the game and you'll always have that. I don't think there's ever an official goodbye. It's a thank you and I'll talk to you soon.
Exactly. Yeah, baseball will always be a very special part of my life, and the things that last forever are the relationships. So the people that I've met along the way, the friends that have become family, and all the influences and amazing people I've met, those relationships and those bonds don't go away. You know, you might not be playing, you might not be coaching anymore, but it's really special to think back on how important those relationships were. And now, instead of baseball being a hobby or a career or a job for me, I'm now, like everybody else, I'm now a fan, and I'll always love the game, and I'll always enjoy going to the ballpark with family or friends. I always enjoy flipping on the TV and watching major league games, college games, and anything. So it's pretty cool to have played a very small part in a couple different organizations, chapters in history and everything like that. But it certainly is. It's a little sad to be completely walking away from being involved as heavily as I was, but it's still very special that I got the opportunity to do everything I did.
Yeah, and having that opportunity to do that, there's a lot to unpack in Volume 2 today of When Dan Meets Marino. And the reality of what we talked about yesterday is so many people have the dream. And you made it so real when you said, there's 30 franchises, there's 25 players that are active there. There's 750 players playing in the majors at any given time, under 1,000, under 800. For you to chase your dream and get to where you got to, we talked about kind of, what you would say to people and how you would do that, but not just in baseball, but in the game of life. What did you learn about chasing your dreams? What did you learn about trying to make a dream a reality?
I think the biggest thing that I learned was, and I hit on it a little bit yesterday, but the dream itself it's kind of like the old carrot in front of the horse thing, and you're chasing it, and it always seems the same distance, or sometimes it might feel farther away than it really is. At the end of the day, you don't know, and the relationships and the bonds you make and the experiences you have will mold your future in your life, regardless of if that dream is achieved or not. And just because it's not, or just because difference. And I think Jamie Moyer was actually in the big leagues when this player was born. That's how long he's pitched. I wish I remembered the names. But
well, yeah, they just said that Major League Baseball now has their first player born in 2001.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. 2000 birthday or above.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. We feel old now.
Yeah, and we were talking about, that's something to address is the times that have changed. I'm 35, you're 31, and I was talking about this morning on the drive in, is that we have a lot of similarities, but it's not just in when we were born, it's how we were raised.
Right.
And it's also the things that you and I seem to focus on, which, I have a lot of respect for. We believe in good treatment of everybody. In today's world, when you talk about young players coming up and whatnot, all they know is the world of social media.
Right.
The only thing that they know is Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, TikTok, on and on and on. That's what they know. We didn't know that.
Right.
When I, and I've told you this before, but to the people out there, when I got my first phone at 16 years old, it was about this big, and it didn't fold. It was heavy. It was like one giant battery, and you put it in your pocket, and it looked like you had a box just sitting. And it would a lot of the time the antenna would stick out of my pocket. You couldn't put anything else in your pocket at the time, and it was like a mini Zach Morris phone from Saved by the Bell, and it was black and gray. The screen was green. It had black lettering on it, and we're not old, but technology's changed so much that when you think about this and really bring it into view, when I got my first phone, I got a text message about a text message, and you get this thing on your phone that pops up, and it says, we're going to start something new called texting. If you'd like to enable it or try it out, hit this. And so you hit the star button, or you hit, whatever the code is, and it brings you into texting, which nobody knew. It was a universal, like, we're going to send this out, Verizon and AT&T and all that, we're going to taps and wait, space, and then type in birthday. It took you about, what felt like 20 minutes to send happy birthday. And nowadays, people, their thumbs are the most active part of their body, but we didn't have that.
Right.
And with the evolution of technology and the evolution of all this stuff comes the social media, which I want to believe was meant to bring us closer together, that someone in Sri Lanka could talk to someone on Long Island, somebody in Syracuse could talk to someone in Zimbabwe. But what technology also has become is a grounds for bullying, hate, negativity. Just as it's a highway to spread love, it's a highway that has also spread hate.
Right. And when you think about how damaging that can be, and a point that is lost is the face-to-face contact, the man-to-man, looking someone in the eye and having a conversation.
Yeah.
If you were going to say something hurtful, everyone's born with a free will. Everyone has a sense of right and wrong. Some people, there's bad people in the world, and most people in the world are, I think, really good, and they try to help people. But if you're going to say something negative to somebody, it is a lot easier to fire your thumbs for 20 seconds and send this really harmful or hurtful tweet or text message or whatever the platform you're going to use with technology these days. Yeah. Press send, put your phone down, you don't even think about it. And maybe the other person on the other end of that phone, it really affected them. It could change the aspect of their lives. I know it has. I mean, it hasn't to anybody I know, but you see stuff all the time on the news or whatever that, a text message or a tweet is very, very damaging. Back in the day, you couldn't do that. If you were going to go up to someone, you were going to go up and say, hey, this is how I feel about you, you might get punched in the mouth. It doesn't happen anymore, and I'm not saying that either way is good. No one should be harmful or hurtful to others, but I think especially the younger kids in a school system or a sports team, unfortunately they might save their negative comments for social media, and it creates a little bit of a two-faced type of personality to people, and unfortunately, that's not what it was made for. And for all the bad things about social media and the ease of access to athletes and the ease of access to a video or a super sweet home run or a highlight, it comes along with some negative things as well. So I think as a generation, just in the world, but specifically for sports, it is a very slippery slope. And I think we have to be careful, especially leaders, coaches, and parents have to be careful with what we give young athletes, young kids growing up access to, because they might see you can't unsee something. Yeah. And it could be very damaging. So I fear a little bit that we're on this train of social media and whether it's recruiting, whether it's just watching stuff as far as sports, and we're on this train and it's heading downhill, and it might be hard to stop because it's almost like an addiction now at this point. You take a kid's phone away, ground them or whatever, and there might be World War III, and it's like they're just so addicted to it. And I think we need a little bit more of phones down, go out in the backyard and play, or phones down at
wheelchair broke down, and I went and got him a new scooter, and I had to drive it back to him, and I had to call him. I went and ran into where Morocco is. Serious Disney took it was like, do not take your phone out at all.
Right.
And you know, and like, so in school, that makes no sense to me that a kid could even fathom taking their phone out to text, because like back in the day, like if I did anything, I was lucky my parents let me.
Again, a little bit of sports bias here, but teachers and coaches, no coach ever told me, hey, when you're at practice, you really got to focus and don't have your Twitter feed up, that because it didn't exist. Now coaches have to say, hey, I know you all got your phones in your bat bags, but they better stay there. It blows your mind. I haven't been to too many youth games, but it will blow your mind. For anyone out there, go to a ballpark, go to your local Little League Babe Ruth field, and go watch a 13U game. I am 99.9% sure that at some point you will see a kid reach in his bag on the bench, if he's not playing or if he just grounded out or whatever, pull out their phone for whatever reason. Yeah. It's a new era of parenting. It's a new era of coaching and teaching, and it has made it more difficult. And like I said, I think for every positive thing that social media and technology and texting and instant access to people bring, it brings the exact same amount, if not more, negative opportunities for people in the world. When it's used for good, though, it's awesome is that. You're sitting at an office and you're a college coach and you're recruiting. I now have access to the whole country. Before, I had to get in my car or jump in a plane. I don't mean me, but a coach had to jump in a car. Yeah. If I'm coaching, I'll just use my alma mater at Stony Brook. If I'm a Stony Brook coach and I wanted to go see a kid in Pennsylvania, well, maybe it's a 5-hour drive. Do you hit traffic? You had to watch him play. You had to go to the ballpark and watch him play. Handwrite your notes, come back, make a decision. Pick up a landline, call the house, talk to boom, boom, boom. Thrown on a mound, hitting, fielding, arms, all this stuff is right at your fingertips on a beautiful HD screen. So that's a good aspect of it. It makes it maybe a kid that wouldn't have played college baseball. Now that he has access to every single college program in the country, maybe he's a right fit for somebody, where before he had access to only maybe from a financial standpoint, maybe mom and dad couldn't bring him to all these showcases and get him exposure. But now that you could go click, 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 boom, now 30 schools have all my data and information in my video. So it is a good thing. But again, we could always circle back to how it affects sports negatively as well.
Anything in life that's ever been created has a...
And now how easy is it to spread that misery with, you know, 100 taps of your thumb and one button sends it to whoever you want. It is a very, very scary thing.
Well, yeah. And they say misery loves company, but I've seen it on social media. All these people retweeting and reposting, and from different cities and states.
It spreads like wildfire.
And
a little different backdrop, but
yeah. You would think, like my computer back in the day when it got overheated, never shut off. So, like, how do they make them worse now?
I know. Wouldn't there be some kind of cool-down system or whatever you know?
Yeah. What's going on?